The main thing, though, is that there are birds in the book, all throughout the book.
They play a role.
They play a role. And Gary, in the book, learns that, well, I didn't phrase it this way, but wind energy kills a lot of birds every year. And so it's actually really hard to put this in a way that you can say it to a kid. You don't want the kids crying. And it's actually really sad. The statistics on wind energy are appalling. I mean, I almost called them bird blenders.
Bird blenders.
Well, but it's awful. I mean, I intend to do a series of these, and I'm really struggling with how to do solar because they fry the birds. And you don't want to tell a kid that. So that was really the challenging, was taking wind energy and making it friendly enough to explain to a kid. I mean, the statistics are awful. I don't know if you heard, but it's in the news recently. I say in the news, it's barely in the news. I read all these details. Most people haven't heard about what's been going on. I mean, the silence has been deafening. But the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service recently opened public comment on what they call their proposed improvements to its eagle conservation program.
Meaning they're going to start ruling that they can't kill as many as they've been killing?
You would think. No, what they want to do is extend the length of time for permits for what they call accidental eagle kills from the current 5 years to 30 years. The change would allow wind energy producers to kill or injure as many as 4,200 bald eagles every year.
Oh my goodness.
The agency estimates that there are now about 72,434 bald eagles in the United States. So they can kill 4,200 eagles a year.
My goodness. It's amazing.
It's terrible. And it's not just the eagles that are a concern. I mean, it's our national symbol. So, you would think everyone would be in uproar over this. I don't know about you, but I have heard virtually nothing in any of the main media about this. But the other issue that, in a way, even more important is the bats. I mean, okay, people think bats, ooh, yucky, they're terrible critters or whatever they think.
No,
but
they're not. They're good. Yeah.
Well, the truth is they do a lot for our ecosystem. And a 2013 study in the Wildlife Society Bulletin estimates that wind turbines killed about 888,000 bats and 573,000 birds, including 83,000 raptors in 2012 alone.
My goodness, we hear all the time about how much wildlife was killed from the BP Gulf of Mexico blowout. But
it pales by comparison, and yet nobody says anything. And that was then. That was 2012. They're saying wind capacity has since then increased by about 24%, and it could triple by 2030 under Obama's Clean Power Plan.
So obviously we're headed for a lot more killings of birds, right?
Well, unless somebody does something about it. So I wrote my book, and I'm making my little comment here, but I think there should be an uproar over this. I just think it's horrible. We don't even really know how many birds are being killed by these wind turbines because the wind industry doesn't have to report the data. It's considered a trade secret.
A trade secret. My goodness.
So in comparison to this, in 2011, the Fish and Wildlife Service convinced the Justice Department to file criminal indictments against 3 oil companies working in the Bakken for inadvertently killing 6 ducks and 1 phoebe.
Now, is that true?
It's out there. I'm not. None of this is my opinion. These are numbers. These are the statistics. These are the facts. Nobody even argues it. Wow. And granted, some of the wind energy companies do have people that are trying to work on the problem, so they know it. They admit it. No one's trying to pretend they aren't. Assuming that they're reporting all of the numbers accurately. So these kind of are minimum numbers, the numbers being reported.
From what I hear, too, though, that wind killings might pale in comparison to solar killings. Have you heard that, too?
I don't have the statistics on that, but it's really bad. There's other problems with solar, too.
Yeah, really interesting. Okay, so let's say somebody's watching. They'd love to have the book for their kids. How do they buy it?
It's available everywhere.
Okay.
So you can go into a Barnes & Noble, you can go onto Amazon.com. The only issue is it's available anywhere online. If you go into a bookstore, you have to pre-order it. And then they will, because it's a print on demand. So you have to have it made for you. But online, you can get it anywhere.
Okay, show our viewers the book one more time. Cool. All right.
Gary the Go-Kart.
Gary the Go-Kart. All right, well, Barbara, I really appreciate you coming in and sharing this with us, and appreciate you doing this too. It's just mind-boggling sometimes how much there is a lack of positive information out there about the cool oil and gas industry.
Well, I hope it helps.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Russ.
You bet. And that wraps up my discussion with Barbara Brandl Denson. And this is the Energy Maker Show.